Alright, so I always make these videos just to get my prediction on film. Sunday, day before the national championship game, I'm a chauffeur, so I'm up here in Indianapolis picking up a passenger at the airport. So we got Miami, Indiana tomorrow night. I've been right about all my predictions. I kind of have a feeling that Miami is, a lot stronger, is somewhat better offensively, maybe than Oregon and Alabama. But I mean, what did Oregon and Alabama put up versus Indiana offensively? I guess Oregon, they got some points, but that game was kind of skewed because of the lopsidedness. And I think it's interesting to point out, like, going into the Indiana-Alabama game, all the analysts, some of them were picking Alabama, and they would bring up film of previous games, and then you'd see what Alabama was doing to those teams in the analyst film session, saying, trying to prove their point about what they thought Alabama was going to do versus Indiana. Well, it turns out it didn't look like what Alabama was doing on the film that the analysts showed prior to the Indiana game wasn't what Alabama did in the Indiana game. And it was the same with Oregon. So although I feel like Miami is offensively maybe better than in the way they do things with what they have than Alabama and Oregon. The question then is, how much better are they? And how much will it translate to on the field? And then the question is, can Miami's defense handle Indiana's offense? So ultimately, all I can say is it'll be a closer game, I think, than the Alabama and Oregon game was for Indiana. And I'll just say that Indiana hasn't given me a reason not to pick them to win. Should Miami win, will I be shocked or surprised? Maybe mildly, but not really. Like, it wouldn't be that shocking to me if that happened. So I'll still pick Indiana, but I think it'll be a closer game. And like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if they did lose. If Indiana did lose, it wouldn't be extremely shocking to me. But at the same time, Indiana hasn't given me any reason at all to pick them to lose a game. Miami has. I saw some Miami fans saying, well, I don't trust any stats from Indiana's season because all they played is cupcakes. And I responded and said, yeah, what Indiana needed to do this year was upgrade their roster by scheduling Louisville or SMU. Of course, I got no response, but anyways, I have nothing against Miami. The only teams I really don't like are SEC teams, but I kind of like some of those. I love the South, but I just don't care a whole lot for the SEC. I don't know why. I mean, so that being said, I suppose I have a feeling that Miami might cover or possibly even win. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked, but again, Indiana hasn't given me a reason. I mean, you look at Elijah Surratt, you look at Charlie Becker. I don't care if Ruben Bain is going to be a pro or Mesidor is going to be a pro. So are some of the teams that Indiana's played against. I'm sorry, but Miami isn't far and away better than some of the talent Indiana's already seen. And you might say, well, you know, Miami handled Ohio State, and they did. But there's a lot of factors that could go into that. If you ask me, Julian saying, I mean, this is his first year as a starter. In reality, I don't feel like like last year, Ohio State was really good because they brought in Will Howard, who had tons of experience. And so, I mean, I'm really not. I really think Indiana will do well offensively. The question I have is, will the Hoosiers defense slow down Miami, get more stops than Miami gets? That's what it's going to boil down to, in my opinion. But because I don't think it'll be like a massacre like the last two games for Indiana, where of course I didn't pick Indiana to massacre Oregon or Alabama. I did pick Indiana to win by more than 10 points over Oregon, but the Alabama game, I think I picked Alabama to cover, but you know, so yeah, should be interesting. Should be interesting.